The beautiful Tasha is going to help me out to make sure that I'm able to, I can't people wrangle, so she's going to help people wrangle us today. All right, so if there's a problem with the screen, Tasha will tell me. If you all have any problems hearing, Tasha will fix it. If you guys forget to mute yourselves, Tasha will take care of that for you. So yeah, let's get started. So from all over the world, we have good world representation here. Welcome to Food as Medicine, Top Nutrients That Balance Hormones Naturally, sponsored by the Black Veg Society. You may have noticed, if you follow us, that we changed our name from Black Vegetarian Society of Maryland to Black Veg Society to recognize our now global approach that we're trying to have, and presented by TrueSelf Total Health. And today I'm representing TrueSelf Total Health, right? So if you're here, kudos. Thanks for taking time to invest in you and your health and wellness. As always, my commitment to you is to provide you with a content-rich presentation in a format that's easy to understand and interactive. I also know how frustrating it can be to get some really great information, but not know how to implement. That's why there are going to be tools and resources and a Q&A to guide you and give you a jump start. So we're going to not speed through this, but we're going to roll through this as quickly as possible so that we can spend time chatting. A few housekeeping issues. Again, we'll have answer questions at the end of the presentation. We want to keep a good flow. You can post your questions in the chat as we go along, or at the end of the presentation, you can use the raised hand icon. Everyone is asked to remain muted to eliminate distractions during the presentation. Also, we invite you to complete a very short survey at the end of the webinar. Everyone who completes the survey will receive a free 1-year subscription to Vegetarian Journal and an African plate recipe book. So if you've been following us, you probably have already received these things, but we would ask you to please continue to give us good feedback or any kind of feedback so we can make this the type of platform that you want to come to all the time. If you stay to the end, stay to the very end, you're going to receive a link for immediate access to a reproductive hormones and self-assessment scorecard so you can create your own unique bio-individual wellness plan. And finally, all 150 so of you who registered will be eligible to participate in a raffle drawing to win a vegan lifestyle book, Vegan Meals for One or Two. Full disclosure, we are a small nonprofit, small but mighty, so it may take a couple of weeks for you to get your materials. It's okay to reach out, just be patient with us. So we're providing what you hope to be a lot of valuable information just to thank you for investing time in you today. All right, moving right along. So let's talk about food as medicine. These courses are these series of webinars that we do once a month are called Food as Medicine, because we know the beauty of food as medicine is that the choice to heal and promote health can begin as soon as the next meal. So food is either building your body up or breaking it down. What you eat either improves your health or depletes it. So there's no neutral ground there. There's no neutral effect. Real, whole, minimally processed, not food-like substances provide nutrients to support your mental and physical health. Now, nutrient insufficiencies and deficiencies are the root cause of feeling disease or discomfort or dissatisfaction in how you look and feel. And it impacts every system of your body. So nutrition, along with lifestyle practices, will give you what conventional medicine can't and won't, a way to get well, not just feel better. So I'm hoping that you all are here to get well. Let's talk a little bit about me, just a little bit. My name is Tony St. Clair Fish. I'm excited to be your host for this webinar. It is my favorite thing to do. I do this once a month. I'm always look forward to it. I'm a functional health coach, a nutritional endocrinology coach and educator, a personal and professional development coach, a raw food chef and instructor, and a yoga instructor. I've been the proud owner and CEO of TrueSelf Total Health for about 10 years, assisting and guiding people who have forgotten or maybe never learned how to stay healthy and balanced in their mind, bodies, and spirit. So among other things, I help them to detoxify their bodies and mind, learn how to eat healthy foods, and improve their overall health and wellness. Now, I'm also a behavioral change expert. So I help you bridge the gap between knowing what to do and then actually doing it. I also like to help my clients rely on their own internal wisdom in order to take a path that feels right for them. So finally, I'm also a functional health and wellness coach and on the healthcare team at Capital Integrative Health in Bethesda, Maryland. It's an integrative health practice that combines the best of conventional and complementary medicine. So all this is to say that my background, training, and education means that I'm qualified to do this presentation. That's the only reason I'm sharing all that. All right. Now, this is the part of the presentation that is super important, and I want you all to pay attention to it. This disclosure is important to keep you safe. I'm not a licensed practitioner, dietitian, nutritionist, nurse, or medical professional, right? And you can keep reading on there, but there are just two things I want you to hear or know regarding this disclaimer. This presentation is meant to be educational only. It's a sharing of information based on my experience and training or the experience of experts that I rely on. I have a bunch of training. It's not intended as medical advice. I'm going to say that again. It is not intended as medical advice. So I'm not treating, curing, diagnosing any condition or illness. So if you have a condition that requires medical attention, please seek it. Don't substitute this or that for this. I ask that you see a qualified healthcare practitioner, especially if you're taking medications or have a chronic condition, before you start to do something with this information that you received today. All right, we're all on board now? Cool. Now, why are you here, right? Are you going night after night with no sleep despite going to bed at a reasonable time? I used to experience that in my early 40s. Are you struggling with hair thinning or hair loss and praying nobody notices? I've had clients that do that, are experiencing that. Are you finding it difficult to maintain your mood and emotional stability and feel a little bit unstable all the time? Are you having difficulty maintaining your ideal weight, whatever's ideal for you? Has your sex drive diminished or even gone away? Well, if you're over 40 and you're noticing these undesirable changes in your mood, weight, sleep, experiencing thinning or loss of hair that you hope nobody notices, and a loss of libido, an imbalance in your key reproductive hormones is most likely the culprit, although there could be other hormonal imbalances that cause it. If you're over 40, most likely it's your reproductive hormones. So this webinar will provide what I hope will be life-changing and practical information, whether you're in perimenopause or menopause, that will help you avoid the pitfalls. Okay. Let's talk about what you're going to learn. So you'll learn the 8 main women's hormones, and there are more than you think. I mean, a lot of people think about progesterone and estrogen, but there are lots of others reproductive hormones that don't necessarily reside in your ovaries. Causes of hormonal imbalances, natural ways to prevent hormone imbalance, the subtle and not so subtle signs of hormonal imbalance. You see a common theme here. The top plant-based, that was error there, I've got to correct that on the screen. Top plant-based foods and herbs and supplements to balance the hormones, and my top 3 hacks for healthier hormones and a happier you. So I want you to understand that both vegan and vegetarian diets are becoming more and more popular due to their health benefits. So there are many unique reasons that someone might choose to adopt the vegan lifestyle. Now, we promote plant-centered or plant-based, but if you are here and you're not vegan or vegetarian, you can still be healthy and balance your hormones, but we always support plant-centered. So I'm hoping that if you find something here that you love and you want to implement a new lifestyle or new diet, that we can support you in doing that, especially if you want to convert to more plant-based. All right. Let's talk about hormones and their functions, since that's why we're here. So we're going to give you a basic understanding of what hormones are and what they do in the body. Hormones are extremely important chemical messengers. They affect many aspects of your overall health. The hormones made by our endocrine system, that's all the hormones that run in your entire body, are like a symphony, and they really have to play nicely together. Hormones affect every tissue and organ in the body. So out of whack hormones can create a myriad of symptoms and effects in the body and mind. So there's premenopause and perimenopause. You've probably heard of these terms. Premenopause and perimenopause are sometimes used interchangeably, but I want to clarify that premenopause and perimenopause are different. Premenopause is when you have no symptoms of perimenopause or menopause. You still have periods. They may not be regular, or they may be slightly irregular, but you're still considered to be in your reproductive years. Some hormone changes may be occurring, but again, it's not as extreme as perimenopausal or menopausal. Perimenopause and menopause and postmenopausal women have the same symptoms. Okay, so they include changes in your period, hot flashes, sleep disturbances, and mood swings. For my own information, I want to know who's here in what group. So Tasha's going to put a little poll up. It's anonymous and it's just for me. And if you could tell me what group you fall in, either perimenopause or postmenopause, that will help me understand the group that we're dealing with. So when we have done with that, Tasha, you can let me know if we have more of one than the other or if we're even. We'll give people a chance to play around with that a little bit. And I think I introduced my partner in crime, Tasha, earlier, but she's a lovely young lady waving at us and keeping us together here.
So right now, 18 people have filled it out and it is a dead tie.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's what I'm finding in my own practice, actually, is that because perimenopausal women are experiencing the same symptoms that they don't even know what's going on. They're very confused because they're still having periods, where postmenopausal women get it. They know they're on the other side, but they still feel crappy. So when we're talking through this, we're talking about hormone imbalance as we go forward, it's going to be for both perimenopausal and postmenopausal women who are still not feeling balanced. Okay, thank you so much for those of you who participate in that. So let's talk about the 8 major female hormones. We'll talk about them very loosely here and then go by and talk about them in greater detail as we go on. So estrogen and progesterone, you probably already know about, but the others you may not. Cortisol, thyroid, pregnenolone, testosterone, DHEA, and androstenedione. I can never pronounce that. Remember, your hormones affect you on a physical and an emotional level. It's not just limited to your physical. So let's talk about the one everybody pretty much knows about. So estrogen is produced mainly in the ovaries, and estrogen is the hormone of femininity. She is the ultimate female there. That's why I liked her picture. She's very feminine. Now, again, because estrogen is produced mainly in the ovaries, the adrenal glands and fat cells can also make small amounts, and they do that post-menopause. So as your ovaries shut down, then your adrenals will pick up the job and start producing the amount that you need in order to be sane. Estrogen, again, is the hormone of femininity because it's responsible for the physical features that we associate with being female. Okay, so that's quick and dirty. So estrogen plays a role in regulating cholesterol levels, the urinary tract, the heart and blood vessels, bones, breast health, skin, hair, mucous membranes, pelvic muscles, brain health, and function. It is not just for you to have babies. I mean, that it protects you after you reach menopause or perimenopause. So we still have to have a certain level of estrogen in order to be safe, even if we're outside of our reproductive or childbearing years. Let's talk about progesterone. This is one people probably already know about. It is called the keep calm and carry on hormone, right? It's best known for its role in preparing you for childbirth or having a baby or growing a human being in you. So let's talk about progesterone's other roles in the body. Breast health, cardiovascular health, health of the nervous system. Progesterone also helps maintain or facilitates or plays a role in healthy brain function and mood regulation. So again, if your mood is off, progesterone is probably off. Easing anxiety, facilitating memory, and promoting healthy sleep and relaxation. Let's talk about cortisol. Cortisol is the body's main stress hormone, and we need that, right? Cortisol, it's released from the adrenal glands, and it's important for us to be in fight or flight if we're being chased by a tiger or some bear or something else that in the woods, or even if we're living in a civilized society and our boss is yelling at us. Hopefully you don't have one like that. It's important because it signals physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual stress. So you can think of it sort of as the alpha hormone because we literally need it for survival. Let's talk about its role in the body. Mobilizing energy from storage sites in the body for immediate use. It reduces inflammation and allergies. It prevents the loss of sodium in the urine to help maintain blood volume and blood pressure, and it helps maintain mood and emotional stability. See a common theme here. Let's talk about thyroid. A lot of people don't conclude, or a lot of people may not understand that the thyroid is part of the reproductive hormones. T4 is a storage form of the thyroid hormone. T3 is the active form of the hormone. The active form of the thyroid hormone plays a role in regulating metabolism, heart function, digestion, muscle control, brain development, and bone maintenance. Pregnenolone is called the master hormone. And it's called the master hormone because all other reproductive hormones downstream from it. Pregnenolone also improves sleep quality, reduces symptoms of PMS and menopause, and improves immunity. So you can see if you're just focusing on two hormones, you're missing a lot here. Testosterone is not just a male hormone. Yes, ladies, women also have this vital hormone, although it should be in smaller amounts than men. Testosterone affects your mood, your libido, your energy, and the accumulation of body fat, as well as mental acuity. Let's talk about DHEA. Now, that is the hormone that's associated with fertility and youth. It's what keeps our skin nice and plump and keeps the wrinkles away. It's used to make sex hormones in both men and women. DHEA has been shown to reduce abdominal fat, improve insulin resistance, reduce inflammation, decrease the incidence of heart disease. It's an androgen for both male. It's an androgen or male hormone. And there's our androstenedione. I can never pronounce that. I'll call it Andy for short. It has effects on estrogen and testosterone levels in the body. So in fact, 50% of women's testosterone comes from the conversion of DHEA and the adipose of the fat tissue. So in females, it's released from the adrenal glands and the ovaries into the bloodstream. That's why it's really super important to manage your stress, because adrenals handle stress, but if they're handling that, they can't handle the other stuff like making you look good and keeping wrinkles away and keeping your mood good and wanting to have sex. All right, so those are the 8 hormones. So the struggle is real. If you're here, you're most likely struggling. The difference being a woman, it is real. So being a woman means having a body designed to conceive and nurture a child. Whether this option actually occurs doesn't matter. Every month, your body prepares for that, right? Almost every woman has felt irrational or over-emotional at some stage or recognized it as such afterwards. Particularly, we have those hormone shifts from being a girl to going into a woman to going into our wise woman years. So I want you to take some comfort in knowing that there's a very rational and normal explanation for your emotional highs and lows, and that you can manage it. You can manage it with some small changes for some of you, maybe some large changes for the rest of you, but you can get that perfect balance. Let's talk about signs of hormonal imbalance. Many of you may be experiencing one or more of these: infertility and irregular periods, weight gain or weight loss that is unexplained and not due to intentional changes in your diet. I've had many clients that lost a ton of weight going into menopause, more than you. I know we always hear about the other side, but it's about 50-50. Depression and anxiety, fatigue, insomnia, low libido, digestive issues. And of course, we talked about hair loss and hair thinning. Any one of these can make you feel awful, as a woman, but then you combine all of them, and then you're still trying to live your normal life. It could be miserable, right? Let's talk about the causes of the hormone imbalance. So it's blood sugar, poor gut health, inflammation caused by a poor diet and sedentary lifestyle, high amounts of stress, high amounts of stress, and lack of sleep and rest, genetics, aging, and toxicity. The top causes that I've seen in my clients are blood sugar dysregulation, poor gut health, inflammation caused by poor diet, high and chronic amounts of stress, lack of sleep, and toxicity. And we'll talk a little bit more about toxicity as we go along. Aging is something that we all do. I mean, that's, I don't know anybody that can stop the clock from going back, stop the clock or go backwards, but you can decelerate. You don't have to accelerate into old age. All right, let's talk about natural ways to prevent hormone imbalances. Now, this is one that one of my clients said, I'd rather give you one of my kids than give up my caffeine. Well, I get that, right? Because usually caffeine is what keeps your nervous system going, but you can do a cup of coffee a day if that's going to keep you going. But because it also contains antioxidants, but if you're trying to balance your hormone and you do too much caffeine, it's going to affect your endocrine system. So you may wish to consider some other things. And if anyone needs any suggestions on the other side of this, I have some suggestions to replace coffee that many of my clients have used, and it's served them well. But that's one of the things you must consider doing if you want to balance your hormones. You want to get plenty of good quality sleep. I know some of you are saying better said than done, but sleep alone can have incredibly positive effects on balancing your hormones. So disrupted sleep is going to cause stress. It's going to trigger stress hormones, and it's going to deplete the adrenals. And remember, as you're going from premenopause into menopause, the ovaries shut down, that store is closed. The adrenals now have to do the job that the ovaries did. And if all your adrenals are doing is fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight, then some of those other things become secondary because it's not meant to keep you alive. You don't need to have sex, right? You got to run because you're under stress. You don't need to look good because you've got to run. So it's important to have that good quality sleep so you can replenish your adrenals. Let's talk about natural ways to prevent hormone imbalances. Take up regular, low impact exercise. So I don't know about you all, but in my 30s, 40s, and even 50s, I was quite the athletic person. I didn't realize at that time that I was stressing my body, and it was worsening my menopause. It was worsening my balance my reproductive organs, or my reproduction hormones. So I decided to start enjoying low impact exercise like swimming, yoga, and walking, so that you don't end up just stressing your body out on all levels, requiring the body to recover from over exercising, which is a form of stress, but also to start the job of releasing estrogen and progesterone once the ovaries shut down. So I implore all of you, if you're over exercising, to think about scaling it back a little bit. And do some low impact exercise. Some about natural ways to prevent hormone imbalances. Add a little coconut oil to your diet. Coconut oil can aid in weight loss. It also produces hormones and reduces inflammation. So find some way to add a little coconut oil to your diet every day, a little bit to your tea or in your smoothies. But this has been a life changer for some of my clients. Now, this is the toxic load we were talking about earlier, toxicity and how it can affect your hormones. The reason I loaded up this slide is because I want you all to see and read every last thing here that could cause hormone disruption and why it's important. You got to eat organic whole foods diet. GMOs are toxic to the body. You want to use a whole house water filtration system. Whatever water you're putting on your body goes into your body. It's not just what you drink, it's what your body absorbs through showers and all that. So look for a way to have, and if you can't afford a whole house water filtration system, just let me know. I have some tips and tricks for you. You want to use high quality air purifiers or open windows as often as possible. My family and I, when I was younger, I was a kid, we lived in Europe. And what I loved about Europeans is they hung out their linen, they opened up the windows. I don't care if it's 30 below. And so there's always purification happening in the home. Avoid alcohol, caffeine, smoking, and illegal drugs. Well, just because anyway, but particularly since you don't want to reduce your hormones, you want to reduce hormone disruption. You want to avoid plastic, particularly plastic wrap and plastic line cans. You want to swap out chemical household cleaners and antibacterial products for all natural brands. You want to use chemical-free beauty and skincare products. Choose those without toxic preservatives and additives such as parabens and artificial fragrances. We are women. We love to put lotions and potions on ourselves. It really has to be clean. Really, really has to be clean. Your liver is the organ that is responsible for trying to process all that toxicity out. The problem is that when the liver is spending all this time breaking down chemicals into less harmful forms, so they can be safely removed from the body, it can't metabolize hormones because that's what the liver does also. So that could cause all kinds of problems in the body. So many of my clients who have sluggish or less than optimal liver functions have been impacted by hormone imbalance. Also, that's what's not listed here is that many of these things, particularly the parabens and the plastic, the BPA and all that, acts as an estrogen in your body, xenoestrogen, XE, and it's a fake estrogen, but your body reads it as real. So it throws your estrogen, it gives you too much of the bad estrogen, and you have an imbalance in your progesterone and estrogen. So it's important not to give your body all of these fake estrogens, because we're estrogen magnets, like it goes right to the fat cells, right? So let's talk about nutrients to help prevent hormone imbalances, because that's why you're here. It's called Food is Medicine. You want to eat foods rich in these minerals and vitamins. You really want to have a balance of all minerals and vitamins, but particularly zinc, magnesium, selenium, iodine, vitamins B, C, and D, and omega-3 fatty acids. You'll see that I have here a graphic that talks about the world's healthiest food.org. I really like that organization, although yesterday when I checked, their site was down. But if you go to the Facebook page, I think he still has information there. You can always go there to find foods that are rich in that. And as we move along, I'm also going to share with you for some of these, like magnesium, iodine, and omega-3 fatty acids, some of the plant-based foods, because these are the ones that I've seen in my practice that my clients are mostly deficient in. So magnesium helps promote sleep and allows the muscles to relax, which is crucial for achieving better hormone health. Dark leafy green vegetables like pumpkin seeds and squash are rich in magnesium. Also with the omega-3 fatty acids, the body needs fat to perform a lot of processes in the body, including hormone production. Many of my clients, particularly of a certain age, are fat averse, but you need fat for cholesterol production, and that fat also produces hormones. So you've got to eat a certain amount of fat. Sun exposure obviously is also vital for hormone health. Early morning sun exposure allows your body to absorb vitamin D. Many of my clients, particularly those of you who look like me, we don't get enough vitamin D. We can't absorb it, or we can't convert it. So I always ask my clients to please check your vitamin D. That's super important. And let's find out where the plant-based foods that we can eat that has some of these things that we just talked about. So plant foods highest in magnesium. You can see there's a ton of plant-based foods that have, so you can never get bored doing that. All leafy greens have magnesium, including kale, romaine lettuce, and collard green. The recommended daily allowance, there's guidelines based on your age, so I can't tell you what it is for you. It'll vary based on your needs, but there's resources that will share that with you. But first you have to know where you stand, and I can talk to you on the other side about testing if you're unsure about your status. Let's talk about plant foods highest in zinc. A very good source, spinach, asparagus, shiitake mushrooms, crimini mushrooms, and good quality source, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, cashews, quinoa, green beans, tofu, oats, beets, and greens. Zinc is important because it's a cofactor for many, many, many functions in the body. Many people are deficient in that. Plant foods high in iodine. Iodine supports a thyroid health. And we talked earlier about T4 and T3, those hormones where your body uses to convert the active to the inactive to the active form of the thyroid. The foods that support foods that are high in iodine include sea vegetables like nori, dulse, kelp. You may be familiar with that. A potato with peel, baked beans, and strawberries. Did you notice strawberries have iodine? Yeah, in case you guys have an aversion to sea vegetables, and many people do. Let's talk about plant foods high in omega-3. You all probably have seen this, heard this ad nauseum, that omega-3 fatty acids are super important for brain health, but it also is important for hormone production. Flax seeds and chia seeds have a balanced ratio because it's important to have a good ratio between omega-3 and omega-6. Now, I'm going to run through this pretty quickly because this is not really a lesson in nutrients as much as it is to find out where you're having imbalances so that I can support you in making a change. So let's talk about herbs to naturally balance hormones. Herbs that support hormone production include ashwagandha, maca roots, saw palmetto, vitex, oat straw, dong quai, chase tree, red clover, and black hohosh. Now, of these, the top two, ashwagandha and maca root, they're considered aptogenic, meaning they're generally safe to use without professional support, but it's recommended that you work with an herbalist or a qualified practitioner to ensure you have proper dosage if you're going to consider any of the others. Let's talk about herbs and foods for a healthy sex drive. Yeah, for her and him, because men of a certain age also have issues. So there's maca root, cardamom, basil, saw palmetto, and pumpkin seeds. Those are just a few. Let's talk about supplements. Okay, so bioidentical hormones are synthesized by plants. They can be in prescription form or over the counter. They must be monitored and there must be a weaning off protocol. Now, many of the women that I work with, not many, but some women choose this option to increase their quality of life. They simply cannot stand the night sweats. They can't stand just the mood swings and the weight gain, and without being able to control it. So when your quality of life is an issue or genetics are involved, you have a methylation issue, then bioidentical hormones are acceptable, but you absolutely must have the support of a qualified practitioner who can determine your baseline hormone levels. Must, because you need to be monitored and it has to be a weaning off protocol. A functional or integrative practitioner is going to work towards naturally balancing hormones by uncovering the root cause, because that's what you want to do. You just want the bioidenticals to take the edge off, right? So you can feel like a human being again, but you don't want to live there. So some other supplements you all may have heard of, and this one is one of my favorite companies, Best Wecken. I recommend this to my clients a lot. They produce many products, but the two that most of my clients have had good success with is Oestroderm and Hydration Oval Suppositories. Now, I always recommend food and other lifestyle practices first before supplements. Always. But while you're waiting for your body to catch up, Best Wecken has many supplements that support transitioning into menopause. Oestroderm is a moisturizer that's specifically formulated to help women relieve common symptoms associated with normal menopause. I don't mean the off the chain type, but just normal shifts that you feel a little uncomfortable in your body. Now, the Hydration Oval Suppositories, that's a moisturizer to help relieve common vaginal dryness associated with normal menopause. Again, these are normal menopause symptoms. And it's formulated with all natural ingredients like cocoa butter, vitamin E, beeswax to provide prolonged moisture. I still recommend that you partner with a qualified functional practitioner or someone that you trust who understands about hormone levels, so you can have recommended dosage, so that you're not just throwing it willy-nilly and throwing yourself out of balance. You can harm yourself having too much as well as not enough. It's all about balance. Okay, finally, we get to the 3 hacks for women's hormonal health summary. If you don't remember anything else, you want to increase your consumption of hormone balancing foods, herbs, and supplements. We talked about those. You want to reduce those hormone disruptors, right? Those hormones or endocrine disruptors are super important to take a look at. So look at the toxicity in your house. You want to make sure you're not taking in those excess estrogens that are going in their bad estrogens. That's not the good estrogen like estradiol. This is the bad stuff that causes breast cancer and causes estrogen dominance. That's never a good thing. And you want to improve your gut health. Why? Because it's not what you eat, it's what the cells see. It's what you digest, it's what you assimilate. So no matter how much good food you eat all that good hormone balancing food, if your body is not digesting, the cells aren't seeing it, it really doesn't matter. As we age, it is a natural thing as we age that our digestive fire goes out, particularly stomach acid, that goes down, that goes out. When you have liver issues, you're not processing those hormones out. So you really want to take care to understand where your gut health is and to improve it. And I can support people in that if you're interested in that. But those are the top 3 that will make a difference. If you do even just one of these, it's going to make a difference. But if you do all 3, your menopause will be magical and not messy. So let's talk about resources now. As we talked about before, we have a BVSMD survey. We'd love everybody to complete, because I want to make sure that you all want to keep coming back for these programs. So tell us what you need. Tell us what you'd like us to talk about, what subject matters. Reproductive hormone self-assessment. Why? Because I think it's important for you to understand where you are, either pre or post, and how serious the problem may be, so you can start to develop your own unique plan for getting well or getting balanced. Full script supplements, I provide, I'm in partnership with them. So I like to have a safe source for clean and effective supplements for my clients at a discount. So you can just go and peruse that. And then we have our BBS YouTube channel, Food is Medicine webinars, where we cover everything from good mood foods to eating right for you to digestive health. So you can take a look at one of those and see if it may help to support you in your quest to not just feel better, but to get well. And then finally, I just want to thank you all for coming. I know we kind of sped through that pretty quickly. Save the date for our next webinar, benefits of an alkaline vegetarian diet. I would like to do just another short poll before we move on to Q&A. So Tasha's gonna get that set up for you now. It's different than the BVS one. The BVS survey that you're going to complete for us really allows you to just give us feedback in paragraph form, what you like, what you didn't like, what you learned. Did you hear anything that would allow you to take action or encourage you to take action? Okay, and that's just, again, that's private and anonymous just for me. My ego is not impacted here. I really love what I do, but it's more important for me to do what you love. So if you would take a few minutes, I would greatly appreciate it. And then we're going to go into the Q&A. Tasha will let us know.
And almost everybody has now filled out that poll. Just so you know, Tony, I have been collecting all of the questions and comments on a document for you. It's color coded so that it's really easy to look at.
Okay. So you're gonna have to walk me through that. I'm gonna stop the share. Yep. All right. Okay. So can everybody see me? All right, great. And the document you've sent to me, or?
It is on your main sheet.
Okay.
But I can also text it or email it to you.
Okay, so I'm gonna go and take a look at that. Let's see. So in the meantime, y'all, let us know what your biggest takeaway was. Did you learn something that you weren't that was shocking to you, or that you didn't know? Just put it in the chat if you learned something different. There it is. Okay. All righty. So Tasha is like on it. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna open. Let's see if I can get it to open. There we go. So I'm going to, it's color coded. So I guess I'm looking at the
yellows are comments. I put a darker yellow if it's a comment that like needs a response. Okay. And then the pink are questions.
Okay, great. If you listed your name, I'm going to just say Linda asked this, so you know this was your question. Linda asks, should we have blood work done to check our hormone levels, and what is a balanced level? Yeah, so yes, you absolutely should have your blood work done to check your hormone levels. There's a blood test. There are blood tests that can support. You can ask for a reproductive hormones panel from your doctor. But one of my favorite and most reliable hormone tests is something called the Dutch test. Now, functional doctors know all about this. This is where they do a metabolite, dried urine. It not only tells you about your reproductive hormones, how they're functioning, but really how your adrenals are functioning too, and in order to handle that shift going from the ovaries to the adrenals, handling that. The balance level, when you get tested, they're going to tell you what the optimal level is. So in any blood test, you don't want to be in the standard range, because that's where a lot of your miserable friends are, right? You want to be in the optimal range, and that's what you're going to be shooting for. So blood tests will always tell you what range you should be in. That was a great question. Thank you. So yeah, so Linda says, provide a replacement for caffeine. Well, there are a couple. One is Ticino. Ticino is, it's an herbal. It's dandelion leaves, and my husband drinks that, and it has different flavorings like hazelnut and all that. He really says he can't really tell the difference anymore between that and coffee, but he loves the taste of it. And many of my clients have done that. It's called Ticino. And if you want to do the step down method, you can do half coffee, half Ticino into your body. It stops its reliance on the caffeine. You can also drink matcha tea, which is green tea, which will give you the same boost, but it won't be so hard on the endocrine system. That was a great question. Let's see. Mai says, caffeine is just so bad for health. You should learn to reduce it or have no intake at all. Really? I agree. Thank you so much for being the amen choir there. I agree. Celeste says, is low impact exercise still recommended if we really need to lose weight? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Because if you push your body too hard, it stresses the body out. And so you end up having a cortisol release for no reason at all. And your body is going to hold on to fat as opposed to exercising at a reasonable rate or pace. They also have something called HIIT, high intensity training, which you can do just at bursts or burst training that will give you that fat burning if you need it without burning your body out. So there's that. I hope that helps. Is weight training muscle building recommended for hormone balance? Yes, absolutely. And again, just don't overtrain. Would like tips for water filtration system, please. So for my clients that cannot afford a whole house water filtration system, because I know that's a big investment of money, in most health food stores that I'm aware of, they have filtrations that you can hook up to your sink so you can have that clean water. But one of my favorites is the Berkey water filter that you purchase. It's called Berkey, Berkey. And you can put regular tap water in there. It cleans it all up through filtration. It has carbon filters. It even has a fluoride filter, and the water is just delicious. For your bathtub, again, from these health food stores in your shower, you can actually put a shower filter. Again, I don't know the brand name, but I know if you just look for shower filters on Amazon or go to your local health food store, they'll be able to help you with that. And before we got a whole house water filter, that's what we did. We would put the filters in the shower head so we'd have clean water on our bodies. I hope that helped. Let's see. Wendy asked, how to find someone who specializes in this area. I really want a new gynecologist. What area? I don't know where you are, what area you're in, but here in Maryland, I work at Capital Integrative Health, and we have amazing practitioners there. You can also, no matter where you are, you can Google search functional medicine doctors, functional gynecologists, functional integrative. That's what you want to look for. So if you're ready to fire your gynecologist, that's one way to do it. Let's see. Linda says, when you buy canned goods now, you know it's not lined with plastic. Tell me more. If you want to open up your mic, Linda. Or have you already gone to your...
Oh, I think she's asking, how do you know if it's not lined with plastic?
That's a good question. I think what I'll do is in the blog, I do a blog after this for questions like this. I will give you a link for ways that, because I know the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine and a couple of other places give you guidelines for protecting yourself and knowing what to look for, or even EWG. They have guidelines for that. So Tasha's making a note. So I'm going to make sure I put that in the blog. You just have to read the blog to get that response. Let's see. Mai says, mobile app to detect dangerous chemicals inside beauty products I use, which is, oh, wow, that's so good. So Mai has provided us with a link, thinkdirtyapp.com. It's a mobile app to detect dangerous chemicals inside beauty products. Wow, that's great. You can scan the barcode and to tell you if the product contains dangerous chemicals like parabens, I guess, and all that. And she says, it is every time I'm about to buy a product at the market, I use it every time. That is such a good tip. Thank you, Mai, for sharing that. Okay. So Linda says, wow, this is a lot of good information. She says she loves strawberries, flaxseed, and chia, not so much. I get you. And she said she'll never look at pumpkin the same again, I bet. Let's see, Grace says, do you have info on gut health and diabetes on YouTube? I'm a pre-diabetic and have IBS. Thank you. Yeah, actually, Grace, I would love it if you would go to my website and do a 20-minute free consultation with me. I've been trained to support people with diabetes as well as gut health. For our website, I mean, for the YouTube channel, we do have a whole webinar on gut health, but it's not very detailed. It's very educational only. So I'd like to get to know you as a person so I can provide you with the best options and where to go so you can take care of yourself, right? So thank you for that. Please, please, please take advantage of that. Let's see, Irene says, I apologize, I missed cortisol information. Should it be high or low, or is there a supplement? So cortisol should neither be high nor low. It should be in response to something happening, right? So cortisol is meant to be a response or stress response, but ideally you want cortisol to raise in response to a stress and then go down. So many people have burnt out their cortisol, so they get to the exhaustion stage and they don't even have enough cortisol to have energy to even get their heads up out of their pillows some morning. So you just want to make sure that cortisol is not being overused. You want it to come up when it needs to come up, go down when it needs to go down. You also want it to rise and fall in a circadian rhythm. There are tests that can actually test when your cortisol is being released and how much to make sure it is being released when it's supposed to be released. And that's called a saliva test, the cortisol saliva test. And I believe also the Dutch test measures that as well. Let's see. Do you recommend drinking bottled water like Deer Park? So I take a good, better, best approach when it comes to water. I prefer the water if you can, get your own, take your own filtered water from your home, put it in a glass bottle or stainless steel. The problem with water that's in bottles is, first of all, we don't know the BPA number. So you got to check and make sure it's BPA free so that when that water, when heat hits it, the heat mixes the plastic into the water, and then you have xenoestrogens. So then you're drinking estrogens. So that's a yes or a no. Just make sure, again, and you have no control over how those bottles are shipped or how long they've sat on a pallet with sun beating into them. And with those estrogens, with those that BPA, that chemical going into the water. So as long as it's BPA free, I'd say, yeah, that's fine. Good, better, best. Good question, Celeste. Let's see, Jennifer says, I recently learned about snake plants as indoor air purifier. Yes, I plan to research more. There's an article from NASA that may be helpful. I see it cited as a reference. So thank you, Jennifer, just shared a link with us. This is why I love this community. Yes, there are other plants too. The peace lily, yeah, those plants, I forgot about that. Everything doesn't have to be high tech. Those are air purifying plants. So thank you for sharing that. Yes, Linda, can anyone sign up? Yes, anyone can sign up for the free 20-minute consultation with me. I go quick because I usually limit it to about 5 people after a webinar like this. So immediately after this, you might want to go and just get yourself signed up for a slot that's free or open. See, Irene said, thank you so much for the clarification. I'm not sure what that was, but you're so very, very welcome. So when I asked you guys what you didn't know, Linda says there are things that I can do to help myself that's easy to do. You know what? If you all didn't walk away with anything other than that, that's what I want you to know. It may seem overwhelming, like all of these changes to make, but if you just make one small change and then build on it and build on it. And I like to tell my clients, the most impactful change that's the least resistant to you, right? So maybe you add more, leafy green vegetables, right? Maybe you drink a little bit more water, maybe reduce your caffeine. Maybe you start looking at your products that you put on your face or your hair and saying, I'm going to swap all that out. All that matters. And really the most important thing you can do, ladies, is know your baseline hormones, right? So a lot of this good information you got, I mean, I don't want anybody running to the supplement store and getting, the Oestroderm and all that without really knowing what their baseline hormones are, because that's still shifting your hormones. And if you put too much in, you might go on the other side, and that's not good either. So that's good. Let's see, Phyllis asked, helpful sleep herbs or food. So melatonin, a lot of clients have had have had good results with melatonin, because that's one of the things that happens as you get older. Your body forgets to produce that. But if you want specific herbs, please reach out to me. Or actually, you know what? I will put that in the blog. That's what I usually do. If you all ask a question that I'm not prepared to answer right now, I'll give you some sleep aids to consider. I'm more of a bigger fan of sleep hygiene, right? Because we always go for the supplement or the food, and sleep hygiene is more important than a supplement. So what's sleep hygiene? Sleep hygiene is turning off the electronics 2 or 3 hours or an hour at least before you go to bed, right? That's having darkening blinds or curtains in your room, or mask that you can put on. That's breathing and being fully relaxed when you lay down. Sleeping well starts in the morning. That means getting the circadian rhythm started by having sunlight in your eyes for at least 5 or 10 minutes. So I like to focus on sleep hygiene first and then go to supplementation. Let's see. Camila says, thanks for the Q&A and really brings it all together. Thank you so much for your comment. Claudia says, I'm struggling with period cramps, and recently your gyno told you that you have 2 large fibroids. I'm so sorry to hear that. They recommended hysterectomy. Oh no, I'm doing my research and have since embraced trying to take charge of my hormones, trying whole foods, plant-based lifestyle. Thanks for the information. Claudia, I would really love it if you would reach out to me and create and do a 20-minute free consultation, because there are some things that you can do with your diet, like right away, that may support you in reducing those fibroids. Yes, and yeah, there are just certain things you must do. There's not nice to do, but you need to do, and it seems like you're open to that. So that's good. I don't know, do we have any other questions? That was a lot. Okay, so I know it was a lot of information stuffed into like an hour and so. Thank you so much for hanging in there through all the technical stuff. But I think it's important to understand how your body performs before you start talking about what to do in it or with it. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I hope that science part of it wasn't too overbearing. Anybody have any questions? And hands up, Tasha, that we can see?
I do not currently see any physical or virtual hands up, but you guys are welcome to do either.
Yes. So since we have a little bit of time here, I had been thinking about doing something to support women in menopause. We always talk about lifestyle to support menopause. So it's not just food, it's sleep, it's stress management, but there's another component that I think we don't really address for women, and that's mindset, right? There's I don't know what you were told, but all I was told was, oh yeah, you're going to be so happy when you hit 50 or so, you don't have a period anymore. Nobody told me that I was going to be like losing my mind, or that all these thoughts would come up about the grieving process, about not being able to reproduce anymore, although that's not the problem. Shifting into the wise woman years, what does that mean? Letting go of stuff that doesn't serve me and then becoming something different. I really want to support women in that part of menopause, because that's the part that doesn't get talked about at all. It is a beautiful passage into wise woman years. It is a letting go of that mother phase, because remember, we're from maid to mother to matron. And there's a whole beautiful thing that happens in the matron stage of our lives if we could just embrace that, because that causes stress too when you're fighting this transition that can be viewed as beautiful. We're all, unfortunately, subject to social society conditioning that tells us that if we're not 20 to 40, where you were useless. And we can't compete with our 20-year-old selves anymore, or our 40-year-old selves, right? We just have to be the best wise women that we can be, the healthiest that we can be in our wise woman years, and watch the beauty that happens. I'm going to just say I'm 60 years old. Life is full for me. I love who I am now. I don't want to be that 40-year-old woman anymore. I fully embrace my wise woman years because it allows me to do stuff like I do now. Because I've embraced that and accepted where I am in life, in the autumn of my life. So thank you for letting me share that. So I'm thinking about doing a little workshop to support you all. Does anyone interested in recipes, perhaps some recipes to support your menopause? Yes. Anybody else? Go ahead, Tosh.
I was just going to say there's also some more comments.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That I put on the document for you, but you are getting a lot of yeses and of course.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, great. Oh, my word. Oh, you guys are so, I live for this. So I'm going to go down. Okay, you checked it off. Oh, you're so good, Tasha. Hysterectomy is hard on the body, so please, yes, see our host. Absolutely. So here's what I can tell you about, and Linda, thank you for supporting Claudia. Doctors treat women awful. They yank out organs, not recognizing that when you give a woman a hysterectomy, that, you know, those ovaries aren't just for producing hormones that for life, you know, it helps with heart health and bone health and all that stuff too. So let's not just yank out organs willy-nilly. Yeah, thank you for that. Let's see. Phyllis says, thanks for all the information. Linda says, you gave me a question to ask at my next wellness check. That's great. Let's see. Donna says, thank you for a great presentation. Ruby says, very informative class. Thank you so much, Ruby. Mai says, thank you. Your words are such an inspiration. You all inspire me. So thank you. Linda says, please make them easy. Oh, the recipes, girl, please. I'm a 5 ingredients or less person. If it's more than that, it better matter. So don't you worry. It's not going to be me. It's really going to be a friend of mine. Her name is Karen Osborne, and she is a magical menopause woman. As I say, she's my age, and she's a bone health specialist. So she teaches bone health movement for bone health, but also recipes. She's a food scientist and an artist. So when I do the webinar, I'm going to invite her, and we're just going to have a cooking good time. We're probably going to be playing in the kitchen together, and we're going to provide you with some recipes that are easy. We're going to bust some myths, right? Because there are two sides of every story about soy. And she's going to explain to you the good side of it and how to keep something that God created, soy, which is not bad in and of itself, how to use it in a way that will transform your body in a good way. So yeah, she'll be busting some myths. So thank you. Yes, for recipes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this workshop. All that I ask, if you guys want to know about it, is make sure you should already be on the mail list because you registered for this. So we got to take your name. But if you're not sure if you're on the mail list, go to the bbs.org and sign up for the mail list.
I have the link. I'll post it in now.
Thank you, Tasha. Ruby, yes for recipes. Kathy said, absolutely, yes, please. Mai and Wendy and everybody says yes. Hermosa said, thank you. You're welcome. Are there specific herbs, natural remedies for eliminating skin discolorations? Yeah, so that's one of the things that happens sometimes as we age, because we don't have the collagen that we used to have. And I'm going to put that also in the blog. For myself, I also experienced that, and I'm doing a turmeric facial that's helping to balance out skin tone. And I'm also doing some other things to boost collagen, because there are nutrients that will give you natural collagen, like plenty of vitamin C and amino acids. So I always go to food first. Let your body naturally produce the collagen for you. But if not, and you're impatient, we can always go to collagen until your body catches up. But that is common as we age as well, Celeste, is the skin discoloration. Linda says, yes, had it done excuse me, had it done and took a long time to regain energy back over a year. Oh, Linda, I'm so sorry. I think you're talking about the hysterectomy. So sorry. Wendy, the best information in the webinar that I've had on this topic, That's good. Thank you so much for your comment, Wendy. Ruby says, when is the workshop going to be? I'm looking at doing it just before Thanksgiving, and it will be probably on a Saturday about this timeline. So it'll be 2 hours because it's going to be a lot of information to cover. It'll be interactive as I see it. I'm planning it as I'm talking to you guys. So one part will be we're playing in the kitchen with Karen, and we'll be talking about the foods that she's preparing, and she'll provide you with some recipes. Then we'll be talking about mindset. You know, what do you need to let go of? What do you need to be more of? And a Q&A where we can all support ourselves in this stage that we're in or going into. And then I may have a movement specialist that will show us some things that we can do to release stress in the moment. I know many people say, I don't have 60 minutes to, go to a spa. I want to show you some techniques that you can do in the moment to reduce stress in the moment. So those are things, just quick and easy things you can do that don't seem overwhelming. Thank you so much. But it looks like it's going to be about mid-November. Let's see. Rosa says, yes, I have melasma. No, I'm not familiar with that term. Melasma as well. This is the main concern as I've been researching and noticed it's hormonal and liver imbalance. Absolutely. Yep. We've got to take care of the liver, ladies, because we often think that the liver, its only job is to process, toxins, but it does heavy lifting. It also processes nutrients like iron, and those hormones, if they're excessive, they become toxic. So the body has to metabolize them and get them out. So yes. Let's see. So much conflict about soy. I'll be glad for clarification. Yes, whatever we provide for you will be scientific, meaning we're going to show science on the left side, science on the right side. And then ultimately, your body trumps everything. Body wisdom trumps everything. But in this society, we're so used to people telling us what to eat, how to feel, not even how to feel, what to eat, that we forget to listen to our own bodies, right? Have you ever eaten something and then you've eaten it for years and then you go to eat it again and it doesn't taste as good, or it doesn't? That's because your body doesn't want it anymore. Body wisdom is super important. Let's see. Is Cmos a vegan alternative to collagen? I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure about Cmos, but I can certainly do a little research. Can we have a recipe for skin tone collagen, please? I think I'm going to save these collagen questions for the workshop. Yes, and because my guest that will be coming there, she's very knowledgeable about that and about the foods that you can prepare to create good collagen in your body. Because you want tight skin, you don't want the wrinkles, you want your skin to be able to turn over a little faster. So yeah, thank you guys for setting up the outline for the webinar or the workshop. Let's see. Linda says, good, I hope I can attend. Yes, help with stress is good. Yeah, don't you worry if you can't attend. There will probably be a recording. Vicky says, I love to hear that you're covering mindset. Super important. The grieving period, ladies, is real. It's real. Nobody told me that I would be grieving. I wasn't grieving the loss of a period, but it was like an identity. I'm not in my mother years anymore. So what am I? That's how we identify as feminine. So it was a bit of a grieving process for me. Let's see. Chandra says, thank you, Tasha and Tony. Tasha's been amazing. Yeah. Shout out to Tasha. Yonson, anything you would recommend for hair thinning, please? Okay, so I think I'm going to save that for the workshop as well. So hair thinning, the thing about aging and hair thinning, it could be for a number of reasons. It could be the reproductive hormones. It could be that you're not just not getting enough nutrients in your body, right? Or you're eating what you think is good food, but because we age, our digestive fire goes out. Maybe your stomach isn't chelating those minerals anymore. So we have to get to the root cause, which is going to be different for different people, right? So we will always start with digestion. That is what nurtures your body. That's how you get stuff in your cells so that balancing can happen. So we take a look at your digestion first and eliminate that your digestion isn't, running foul. Most likely, most of us, our digestions run foul when we get over 40. We start addressing that first. Then we look at what you're actually eating that supports hair, nails, and bone health. Okay, we look at blood tests. So I've been trained to read blood tests as well to see where we have imbalances. What's happening? Where are you in the range? Are you in the optimal range, or are you in the standard range? For some of those organs, glands, and hormones that support hair and gut. So you see, there's a lot to cover in the area. So I don't want to just tell you. I mean, I could tell you like Google says, oh, just get some biotin. Well, I don't know if that's going to be your problem. I don't know if it's because of those male hormones, the androgens. I don't know if the adrenals are just not doing their job and they're overstimulated in one area and not stimulated enough in another. See what I'm saying? It's a lot to consider. But blood testing, assessments, we always start there. We have to know what we're dealing with first, where the imbalances might be, so we can start to address them. Get down to the root cause. Love the yes. Says body. Linda says, love the buzzwords, body wisdom and wise woman. Yes, absolutely. So I don't want to say your name because this is private information, but someone says they have stage 4 endometriosis. You have Prostap injections that bring on false menopause. Yeah. What supplements could I take to reduce inflammation as they want to operate? I need to know you as a person. And so I cannot give medical advice. What I'd like to do probably is turn you on to a functional doctor that can support you, that has experience in that area. Because I am not trying to go to jail for practicing medicine without a license. I'm too cute. Same, not doing it. Love y'all. I ain't going to jail for you. Let's see. Yon says, thanks a lot. Okay. We exhausted that. Is there anything else? All right. So we do have a few minutes left. So if there are any outstanding, Tasha, that was amazing, that document you created. That was so easy to get through. I do see Phyllis has a question. What about bone health and stiffening? Yeah. So that happens as we age. And again, that has a lot to do with hormone imbalances. So we have to find out what's happening in where your imbalance is. And my friend, Miss Karen Osborne, is a bone health specialist, and she will talk to us about how to increase bone density and decrease the stiffness that you feel. So it's a function of movement and also food. All right, wow, y'all. I did not think it was going to be this active. I'm so appreciative. Celeste says this was absolutely amazing. Thank you. You all absolutely amazing. Please, if you could just fill out the BVS survey. It's super important for me because I create these workshops and webinars based on what you tell us you need. I don't want to do it in a vacuum. And so that's why we now have this webinar called, Food is Medicine, Balancing Hormones Naturally, because we got feedback that that's what you all wanted. So we're planning for next year. So any feedback you can give me would be greatly appreciated. Anything else? I think that's it. Oh my gosh. Usually we run over. So you all have been really good. Did I miss anything, Miss Tasha?
No, just a few comments thanking you.
Oh, thank you all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you think, oh gosh, I wish I'd asked this question, or you were too shy, or because you want to protect your personal information, you can always go to my website, go to my contact form, and reach out there. It takes, it is a Saturday. I generally don't open up mail to honor myself until Monday. So it may take about 24 to 48 hours for me to get back to you, but I promise you I will. All right. Okay. Unless there is anything else that's burning in your head to tell me, there's nothing else burning in my head to tell you, we're going to sign off and hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please be encouraged and know that you can balance those hormones naturally. It may take a little work, but you can do it. And I'm going to help you. All right. Adios, y'all.